Today we talk about the Swiss tool X Plus by Victorinox. This is a long-term review, hence the name of my channel, and I owned this for over 10 years. I was gifted one during my apprenticeship as a carpenter, and I carried it daily. Today we find out what I think about it. First of all, that's not the one I carried for all this time. It's a new one from Amazon because my old one was stolen. And I used this opportunity to buy two nearly identical versions of it to show you some differences and what I think about it. And we find out how useful all these functions of it. To make one thing clear, the difference between the versions is this part of the kit. One has a ratchet in it and one doesn't. We come back to this. The tool itself, like all multi-tool style gadgets, has a plier in the middle, and after this, some tools. As I said, I carried this on a daily basis during my apprenticeship, and we will talk about what tools I even used and which doesn't. So, start with the most obvious, the pliers. Yeah, when you are a craftsman, a construction worker, I think there are better tools provided to you. So I think I never used the pliers. Maybe once in conjunction with the second most used tool. That's why I like about Victorinox that the bit tool and the pliers are separate from each other, because it could happen that you want to pinch some screw at one end and screw at the other end. That's one use case for the pliers. But for almost all these tools, I can say when I need one, there's a better version provided to me. I'm no bushcrafter or something like this, so if you need a saw as a carpenter, there is a better saw for you than this. We go further. The next tool is a can opener. I indeed used this a few times when camping or getting something for lunch that is in a can. That's indeed a very useful tools. I really like these. Hopefully Victorinox continues to install this in their tools. This bottle opener, of course, construction workers drink beer, you have to open it, but at every construction site and on every workshop there's a dozen tools you can open a beer bottle with, like something for measurement, a fire starter, just a workbench or whatever, so not really needed. A flat screwdriver, sometimes needed, but you also have bits for this, and yeah. I think when it comes to stuff like this, it's very useful when you have this in your car, and just for emergencies you can use it. Continuing. Okay, that's, I think, also flat screwdriver, but more sharp for prying stuff open. I think this could be used to strip down some wires, but again, if something like this is your job, there's most likely a better tool provided for you for this task. What do we have here? I never used this. Maybe for prying something open, or also as a flat screwdriver. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, we have the nearly exact same tool as the head of this one. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it. Now finally we come to something useful. The blade. This was indeed used, you know, cutting some string or opening a box or eating something or whatever. That's where I use the blade. The file. I can only think of 3 use cases for the file: wood, metal, or your fingernails. For the fingernails, you would also need a tool to cut them. If a scissor is enough for this, good luck. My nails are too thick, I need a special tool. I need a clipper. And for metal and wood, same as for everything else, if you need to do stuff like this, there is most likely a better tool for you provided. Yeah, another flat screwdriver style tool. I don't know. Maybe, I think if you have a bit set like this, there's not full, by the way. You can add stuff that you regularly use. Maybe take a look at your other equipment that you have with you, whatever this is, what screws are needed for it, and take this. I don't know what this tool is for. The Phillips screwdriver. Same point. This one. Yeah. Again, I never used it. In 3 years, I had this on my belt and carried it everywhere, even if when I was not on the job. I mean, I think it's for punching some leather or something. But if you want to do this, then you need also like a string and a needle and other tools, and in this toolbox is most likely something like this. The scissors. I think scissors on a multi-tool are quite useful for various things, but yeah, cutting some string or wire or whatever. I never used it on my job, or maybe if there is some loose string hanging around from somewhere and you don't want to use the knife, yeah, use the scissors. We go further because what is also attached to this pouch is the corkscrew opener. I indeed used it one time years after my apprenticeship, when I did something completely different. I had to open a wine bottle for my boss, and I could gather some brownie points by having this. Besides this, yeah, quite rare that you use it. I think you can find on YouTube some other use cases for the corkscrew. This here, if you wear glasses, they mostly likely have a head like flathead screws like this. And if they become loose, it could be nice to have something like this. So, get this back again in there. And one moment. Okay, this belongs to here. And while we are at it, the difference between these two versions is This one contains this and this one contains this. This here has a ratchet and costs like $50 more for this. I would strongly advise going for this version for multiple reasons. There's one point of failure less. This can't break. I don't know how much resistance does this ratchet joint even hold up to if it gets damaged just at the wrong time or whatever. And you need these two parts to actually use it on a screw. Of course you could use it also only with a bit like this, but this requires very much operating area around your screw, and I think it's better if you have some space like this. This version doesn't contain some elongation like this, but they are delivered with most bit sets, and you can easily add something like this to it. And now even and there's room in the pouch for it, despite no matter which version you buy. And you could use something like this to elongate your lever when a screw goes really hard. So I advise for this version very clearly. So one final point I forgot about is the tongue, is the pliers. Here, this wire cutter, other companies like Leverman have this here, have the wire cutter replaceable. This one does not, and the manual just says somewhere here it's only for thin and soft wire. So I would be a bit afraid to use it in an emergency situation, and would rather it had to be a real emergency. If it's just I have this on my belt and real pliers like in my truck, I go for the work and get the real pliers. So to be honest, I'm not sure, despite carrying something like this for so long, I'm not sure if I need it. Are the $160 for this version worth it to just have it in my car, just in case for whatever, when like a knife for $10 and pliers for another $10 are the only part of this kit I use? Maybe I get just some smaller Swiss Army knife. I'm not sure. Write it in the comments for me. I hope I provided some value for it. If so, like and subscribe. See you next time.